And welcome to Biscuits and Blethers. This is our first, special exclusive edition. We do have a full-sized audio podcast ready for Norman Paterson, which will be out very, very soon. But we felt we needed to have a wee chat about things that are going on in the wireless world just now.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, having a wee look, Norman, I've got your petition up in the background here, and it's sitting at 14,397 verified signatures at the moment, which is outstanding work for any petition. So, do you want to tell us a wee bit about what the petition is all about and why we're having a blether to you like a proper journalist might do?
I think, like a lot of people, 3 weeks last Friday, when the news broke that BBC Radio Scotland had decided to axe 4 of its most popular programmes, I was probably initially shocked and then totally confused. I thought, what's going on here? And by the time I was halfway through paragraph 1, I had got change.org up on another screen. And they actually make it really easy to pull together a petition. All they need from you is a headline. So in about 10 minutes, I got the petition up and running, thinking I might get maybe 500 people to sign it. And that would be the end to it. But no, it's grown arms and legs. And if nothing else, it's just a testament to what the Scottish public think of Iain and Billy and Natasha and Roddy.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think this is as a total layman in the radio industry. I think BBC Radio Scotland underestimated the depth of feeling here.
Yeah. There's lots of things around about it. I mean, I don't know where to start myself, Norman. I've obviously been in the radio business, for those who know, business for about 17 years now, and on particularly Celtic music radio, but through another few ventures I have going as well. And my aim has always been to promote new music and new artists, particularly unsigned ones, the ones that need a wee bit of kind of help up, the ones that need the exposure. And that's been done on a community radio basis. So, when you're talking about audience figures, it is in comparison to what our folks are getting on Radio Scotland's probably quite small. But I think it's still, very, very important to get people out there. And I don't have the talent myself. I often say this to people. I don't play an instrument. The only thing I play is the CD. I maybe update that to MP3 these days. But I'm in awe of people like yourself and some of the people that are involved now with this. It's not a petition anymore, is it? It's really a campaign, but it's about the Scottish music and maybe the wider arts industries.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, the job of the petition, these are things I'm learning as I'm going along. I'm a layman. The job of the petition is just to get the interest. It's like the firelighter or the kindling. And once the petition has done that, it's kind of done its job. And we've now moved into stage 2. And stage 2 is proving a lot more interesting than the first phase, because now people are talking and things are coming out and arguments and counter-arguments are appearing. And I think at the very least, this is a major PR blunder for BBC Radio Scotland. That's on what anything from that to what on earth are they doing here? So it's something between these two spectrums. And I've got an inbox on Facebook on my own personal email address, and it's chock-a-block, Ross, with messages, folks giving me tips and advice. And I think everybody following this now is getting a feeling of just, it's almost a movement. I think it moved from a campaign to, this is not just about Iain Anderson. This is a lot bigger than that. And like a lot of musicians have said, and I said it myself, say come next March, you spent a year putting together an album. You've written the songs, you've been in the studio, you've done all the production, you've done the mixing, and the album is ready to go. And for most musicians, that's the scariest time, because when they're in the studio and that, they're in control. And suddenly they get this product and they've got to get people to buy it. And what Iain and Billy and Roddy and Natasha did was they gave us a national shop window. And that the knock on from that, through PRS money, through promotion for gigs, for reviews, that should never be underestimated. And then somebody said to me earlier today, a well-known person, he said, my album's coming out in March. I don't know how I'm going to market that now, because that was always my, at least I'll get played on Iain Anderson. And if that's gone.
Yeah. There's a wee quote here I quite like. I mean, you've pulled an awful lot of information together. I'm completely in awe of the work you've done here. And, part of the BBC Charter is to promote UK culture and creativity, and that includes music. So by pooling these 4 particular shows, it seems to me counterproductive against the charter of the organisation.
The clue's in the title. It's BBC Radio Scotland.
Yeah.
It's not BBC Radio Smooth Radio Scotland. It's not BBC Easy Listening Mainstream Radio. It's BBC Radio Scotland. So, and there's two different strands here. There's the musicians and the industry on one side, but then there's the listeners on the other side. And if you've read, I did a wee slideshow of comments, which is just a tiny percentage of the comments that are out there, but they're all genuine stories. And there's one woman saying, I started listening to Iain with my grandmother. And she's, wow. And these are real, and they were quite emotional as I was reading them. And it kind of followed my own story, because, I mean, I grew up with John Peel before he went punk. Johnny Walker, and Bob Harris, and then later came Tom Morton and Iain Anderson himself, and then to a certain extent Archie Fisher. And I was a listener long before I became a songwriter. And if I hadn't been a listener, I would never have become a songwriter. And then you mentioned earlier, Ross, about figures. Like, everybody knows figures don't mean anything unless you've got something to compare them with.
Indeed.
In the letter BBC Radio Scotland are sending to all MPs and sending out, they keep harking on about this. It's only got 2.5% of market share. Now, somebody who's in the media and knows these things sent me a breakdown of what that actually means. And he said the BBC, they're quoting market share. They're not quoting share of BBC Scotland listeners.
Right, yes.
Totally different things.
Yep, absolutely.
Now, he pointed out that BBC Scotland's market share of listeners is 5.7. Now, that includes football, and it includes the 2 news programmes.
Yeah, which
so
are obviously
back away from the 5.7.
Yeah.
Suddenly 2.5% for a late night niche show on Sunday night looks pretty healthy.
It certainly does, and in terms of community radio, if you read the Rajar figures all down, the other at the end, as in the people, the stations who can't afford to pay, the fee to find out what their figure is about 2.5%.
Yeah.
So I would have said 2.5% for a BBC show that is promoting new music is actually very, very good.
And it's a very loyal 2.5%.
Absolutely.
That's not just people turning in one week and then not turn. That's people listening every week. It's almost, what is it they call it? Appointment radio. Yeah.
And it's very much its own kind of community as well, albeit that it's the BBC that are it's the BBC platform that it's on. Yeah, so those audience figures, Norman, are very, very interesting. My kind of ears pricked up.
I thought it said only 2.5, but if you just see a figure on its own, it's a bit like going into an off license and saying, "Give me a bottle of wine." It doesn't mean anything on its own. It's just 2.5% of what. So I'm very grateful to the chap that sent me these analysis.
Another thing that gets me as well is the kind of demographic group as well. I mean, what they've said apparently is that they want to attract 45 plus. Now, in an aging population, I'm more than 45.
I'm the plus.
Just a little. I'm not quite sure where they're kind of growing with this. It seems to be that they're maybe cutting off a bit of the audience that, is actually getting larger as we get older.
The first thing they've got to accept is they're going to lose Iain Anderson's existing listeners. So they're going to go, whether they go to Celtic Music Radio, wherever they go, they're going somewhere. They're not going to stay. So how do they replace Iain's listeners? From where? Where are they going to take them from? And then build on that. That doesn't make sense.
What they're proposing is already happening in the wider radio industry, so why copy it?
Somebody said that there's a precedent for this happening in another country, and then 3 to 6 months down the line, they admitted it wasn't working, and they went back. Whether that will happen, I don't know.
But one of the things...
Go for it.
Sorry, I was just going to say, one of the things that I would be really interested to know, Norman, if you could sit down with BBC right now and you could chat to them right now, what would your top 3 kind of asks be? What would you want them to do?
For number 1 is why. Number 2 is why. Number 3 is why. On the basis that the shorter the question is, the harder the person finds to answer. Just why are you doing this? And then just let them talk, because I think we don't understand why they're doing it. I think maybe we can understand doing it, but what's going to happen to Iain Anderson and probably Billy Sloan's existing listeners?
Yeah.
They'll, they might move over to radio like yourself, Ross, but they're not going to stay on BBC Scotland. They're not wanting. An Iain Anderson listener is not wanting easy listening mainstream chat on a Saturday night or a Sunday night.
No.
I mean, I did a wee demographic the Monday after I did the petition. I pulled Iain's playlist for the Sunday night and the Monday night, and there were 12 Scottish acts in these 2 shows, 3 from the Hebrides, 1 from Orkney, 1 from Shetland, myself down in the Borders, and a smattering from Glasgow, Edinburgh, 1 from Aberdeen. That was just over 2 days. And he played Bruce Springsteen, he played me, he played Natalie Merchant, he played Joe McCann from Greenock, and then he played Dave Carey from Glasgow. Where else? And all these Scottish acts are getting played seamlessly along with all these major international acts. And it's not like you play Springsteen and then they play something less than Springsteen, because the stuff they're playing to me sounds equally as good. So we're holding our own.
The other question I would ask here is who else is playing Springsteen anyway, but that's another thing.
I play Springsteen when you could play Billy Joel.
I like your thinking there. But it does seem to be, I mean, this is kind of part of it as far as I'm concerned. This is that the industry seems to want this pre-packaged top 40, easy listening. This is kind of what it is, and this is what you're going to get, as opposed to mixing it up and doing something different.
Is that not what Spotify's for? If I want easy listening, uncurated playlist, I'll go to Spotify.
stick the Spotify DJ on, and that's absolutely fine if you're wanting something without that kind of voice in the background. Absolutely.
You like to see the presenter set the song up, play the song, and then say a couple of sentences after it. If that's out of the picture, you're a square with Spotify.
Yeah, well, I may as well get rid of radio in that case, and obviously I'm a bit biased because that's what I do. But the DJs I like and sort of the shows I like, I know are, as you said, you're curated by someone who's actually interested in the music, they're interested in what they're hearing. For me, it's about hearing something and wanting to share that with my audience. And that doesn't happen if you're just rotating, 250 tracks that have been a hit at some point.
No. And the other thing you don't do on the radio that you do on Spotify is you don't skip.
Yeah.
You listen to the whole
Yeah.
Spotify, 15 seconds in, if you don't like it, you've skipped. But that doesn't happen on radio. You listen to the whole song, then you listen to the next song.
One of the things that I had a wee look at today, and it made me quite sad, and it made me a wee bit angry as well. Unlike the BBC, I can be a bit biased. It's great. I was reading from a musician and someone who I know personally that feels as if they've been cancelled. Their type of music won't be represented now. They won't have the chance to get their music out there because it's niche, as the musician put it. That kind of impact from reading your stories, that's been told by numerous musicians.
Yeah, I know it's a cliche, but we are all literally singing from the same lyric sheet because that was our shop window. And I'm fortunate. I'm not a professional musician. I came to this late, but I know so many people that are struggling just to get enough in from various sources to pay the bills. And the PRS money that came from BBC Radio Scotland might be the difference between carrying on as a musician or just turning around and saying, look, I can't, I'm going to go and get a job. Yeah. There's not enough money this month to pay the bills.
Yeah. And this is sad. That doesn't cover it. As you say, it's taken away a whole industry.
But I thought this would kind of boom halfway through week one. People would moan and groan about it, and then it would just filter away. But the opposite's happening. The strength of the feeling is getting deeper and deeper. There's now a sense of anger. The whole thing, from my layman's point of view, has been dreadfully mishandled by BBC Radio Scotland. Iain Anderson's 80 odd. He might have talked with them about a way out of this, over a number of months where there's a successor come in. They just could have handled it so much better, but it's just like the Night of the Long Knives. It's like something out of Julius Caesar, and it's fait accompli. But what you're seeing now is the BBC are coming back to the MPs with this bland 8-paragraph statement, which the more people are looking into it, the more holes they're finding there. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you caught Steve McCall's piece in the Herald today. Constant follower.
Yep.
He wrote a really good piece in the Herald. You have to pay £1 to read it. It's worth an investment because he wrote a lovely piece on his own Facebook page, and now he's done is it co-op or co-ed article in the Herald. It's a technical term where he writes it and a journalist helps him with it, but that's really worth a read because the thing seems to be opening out a bit here. And I think the BBC thought that letter would be an end to it and it would keep everybody happy and keep the MPs happy. But what we're saying now is no, that letter does not go anywhere near what we're needing. Who knows?
You said, sorry, Ross, you said recently that you had an idea of forming a kind of steering group. So I guess my kind of thoughts are around about that. What's kind of next and what do you need from the music community to help you to continue the momentum that you've kind of started, I guess?
Aye. If it was about the renewable energy industry, I could talk all day about that, and I would know what all these reports I'm getting mean. I'm getting sent so much really good stuff. I don't know the industry, so I don't know how best to use that. So we've tentatively formed a small group of us. One from a musical background is quite an established artist, somebody who has her own PR company, and somebody in the media who understands the media, and myself. And between the four of us, I'm hoping that the three of them can do everything. I'll just take the credit. It's like, Jackson Browne and David Lindley.
Mm-hmm.
David Lindley probably did 90% of the work.
Yeah.
Jackson Browne got 100% of the credit. And Kirsty Moore's the same. He's got a Donald he'll do all the same. So that's kind of what I'm hoping. That somebody that can look at a report or can look at a letter coming out from the BBC and go, no, that's total rubbish what they're talking there.
Sure.
Whereas I can't do that. Then if we can persuade one or two better known people, to have quite a higher level in the industry to speak up, try and use their contacts to get in front of cameras, keep the story going. Don't let the BBC think, all we need to do is say nothing now, it'll go away. I think the depth of feeling is so deep that I don't think we're going to go away.
No.
And just like this, this is nothing against Roddy and the two girls that are coming on. Things have to change. Iain had to take over from somebody 30 years ago, so there'll always be change. What we're saying is, surely to goodness, in 164 hours of programming a week, there's more space than that for Scottish independent new music, no matter the age of the person. It could be Josie Duncan at 21 or myself at 68. We're still creating new music, and surely there must be. Iain Anderson Show was something like below 2% of their 164 hours a week.
Yeah.
Surely somewhere, and the way people listen to it doesn't. You don't have to listen to them live. You can listen to them on catch up as long as it's there. When most of your shows, Ross, it's on catch up. I listen to them because that's just the way we listen to stuff nowadays.
Yes, indeed.
That's what I'm hoping there'll be compromise, because you can't have a victory for one side without the other side feeling terrible. You need compromise. It's important not to get personal about this. The people, the decision makers, are doing what they think is right. We just want them to stop for a minute and think, well, there's all these listeners out there that you're abandoning.
Yeah.
And a lot of them feel it's Scottish culture you're abandoning. And say, for what? Easy listening, mainstream. You can get that. Like you said earlier, Ross, you can get that anywhere.
You can these days, and there's plenty talent out there that does not have, that doesn't have that shop front, as you describe it. It's not there for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And to take even if you're talking
for most
2, 4, 6,
I know,
8 hours a week, is a lot to the industry. It's a lot to Scottish culture.
Well, if you look up Radio Scotland's Facebook page on Friday, when they announced the changes formally on their Facebook page, the last time I looked, there was 186 comments. I found 2 in favour of the changes.
Yeah, that's got to say something, hasn't it?
And
what
can you go?
I was going to say, what do you count as audience research? And if that's not research, then
well, the only post on Radio Scotland in the last month that got more than that was the budget, when they asked for comments. And Brian Burnett's programme, Get It On, where he asks, what songs do you want? So they weren't asking for comments.
Yeah.
And that's 186. I didn't see any from musicians. That's 186 from predominantly listeners.
Yeah. That's very good. It's a lot of feedback in a 1% world of feedback. That's very, very good indeed. Yeah.
A lot of strong feeling out there, Ross.
Yeah. So anybody else that's watching this, obviously if you're a musician watching this, please make contact and join the campaign. For listeners, what should they do?
Facebook. Nobody that listens to me or Iain Anderson is on TikTok or Insta. You're on Facebook or nothing.
And I've been watching the numbers here while we've been talking, Norman, as well, and it's got to 14,400 just while we've been talking. So it's amazing. It's amazing that that it's getting there. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and more power to you and to the group that you've got together on this issue. It's it's important on so many levels. Particularly for me, I've supported musicians for the last 17 years, and I'm very, very keen on doing so.
Well, one well-known songwriter who I spoke to earlier today, he said he's been in the industry for 30 years. He's never seen the Scottish industry so united against anything.
Yeah, it's a good point, because you've got people like the Scottish Music Association is behind it, the Musicians Union behind it.
Absolutely.
It's tremendous, and it's just great to see all these people going, no, this is not happening.
You're publicly funded. You're not a commercial station. You're publicly funded, and if BBC Radio Scotland can't play Scottish music, new Scottish music, who are they expecting to? That has to be part of the reason they're there.
Yeah. And there's got to be that kind of feeling as a musician kind of watching it as well. Are they undervaluing what we're producing? Are they undervaluing our arts or our culture, as you've mentioned before? It's a real sad state of affairs, and there's not been very much consultation, from what I understand, with their audience on the decision as well.
Well, so, and they keep talking about this audience research data now. Under the Freedom of Information Act, they're not obliged to reply to a request for arts unless they quote audience research data, and then they have to, because so they've got, it's the third today, they've got to the 11th of December to send me their audience research data, or a reason why not. So we look forward to that.
Interesting.
Watch this space.
Crossroads theme.
Norman, I can only thank you for taking this up, and for starting it off and for keeping going with it. It's just an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing you've done, and say anybody watching this, please support it. It is. You might view it as just a radio show or a couple of radio shows on our national station, but it is so important to musicians and to the music industry in general, and indeed to Scottish culture, because where does this go if it's not promoted on our national station?
As Joni Mitchell says, you don't know what you've got till it's gone.
Big yellow background.
See what they did there? Wow. That was quick.
It's probably quite a good time to mention as well. We've spoken a lot about the petition and a lot of what you're doing, but listeners to this at the moment can also hear more from you in this coming week, because if they tune into Biscuits and Blethers, Norman Paterson has an extended blether with us on that. And it's going to be the last of our audio-only shows, Norman. So you are going to be the very final of the audio-only shows while we make the switch to our kind of video shows. So we'll hopefully have you in the studio in the future as well.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, guys.
Most welcome.
Thanks for all you do. You've been very supportive of me, Ross, over the last couple of years.
It's just what I do, Norman.
Absolutely.